All right. Hello, guys. We're the Primo Calcio guys doing our Calcio FC EN work. So this is the Calcio FC podcast. I am Michael here with Anthony, and this is going to be a Juve day. We did a little bit of the match preview in our last cast, so go check that out if you guys want to see the Milan-Pisa game or the Napoli Inter game. But now it is all Juve. What is wrong with Juve? We're going to break it down piece by piece. Okay, so we're going to start with the game recap, and we'll do Lazio, Juve. I'll kind of start with what I was going to say, and then you take it from there. So this was a game where I thought that both teams are struggling. They have managers who I don't really think fit them very, very well, and they've been not performing very well. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I think I called a draw. You could call the win here. Ended up being a loss for Juve, and then Lazio wins it 1-0 with an early Basic goal. That's it. What'd you think of the game?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a great game, great match. A completely injury-ridden Lazio played their asses off and took it to us. It was, it was such a serious loss for me that I had to fly all the way out here to the Cantonasa board, and I'm sitting there in the board. Yeah, I'm in the boardroom right now, and Elkin just came in here and pooped in the urinal. So I don't know, he thought it was funny, or I don't know if he did it on purpose. But he just kind of came in, did his thing, didn't even wipe, and just walked right out. So is
the little urinal for Lloyd Kelly? That's
yeah. Well, Elkin did use the big urinal, he's got he's got some ego problems. But yeah, he could have definitely sat in the little one. But no, it was a mess. Worse than I expected. We're not playing very well right now, but we had a decent match against Real Madrid where we basically hung on for dear life the whole time, and then to see us give up an early one against Lazio, I'm like, okay, we've been scoring goals this year. We won't be so bad. And then, we just stunk up the joint, man. It's just a bad squad. It's a bad squad.
Speaking of a bad squad, I'll go over the lineups. Lazio, you said, was very injury-ridden. Their back line was pretty much untouched, right? They had, Provedel, Lazzari, Gila, and then Romagnoli, Marasic. Guendouzi was back, which was a big. Cataldi, Basic, those are obviously their backups there. Basic could be a starter. But then they had Isaacson, Dia, and Zaccagni. Now, that's not that bad for backups. So Lazio actually does have decent depth. But Cancelliere has been very good. Rovella is, in my opinion, their best player by far. Zaccagni is not too far behind. But, it's still decent team there. Yeah, Tavares is out for sure. So it's not a bad lineup. And then Juve's lineup is Perin, Kelly, Gatti, Kalulu. You can just stop right there. You already know it's going to be bad.
It's already worse than the Lazio's. And they have injuries. Yeah.
For sure. Cambiaso, McKennie, Locatelli, Coop Miners again. He just can't stop playing Kelly and Coop. Yeah. Conceição, Vlahovic, and Jonathan David. I've got two main issues with this lineup. Actually, three.
Spit it out.
Actually, hold on. We can't have this intro music going on, okay? Sorry, guys. There you go. All right, there you go. Anyways.
Generic smooth jams.
Yeah, you guys like that? Anyways, you can't have Kalulu, Kelly, and Coop, right? It's just not. It's not good enough, right? These are not great defenders. If you guys hopefully know, I'm a Milan guy. Don't love the current Milan, but I've seen Kalulu. He had one great season at Milan. Probably he just came in and that whole team was on fire. But after that, he's not the great defender. He makes a ton of mistakes. He's doing it at Juve. He's not good enough. Kelly's terrible, and Coop maybe the worst player on your whole team.
Oh yeah, I think he is.
So you can't do that. He didn't look good in the week. He didn't look good now. I don't know why he even gets minutes.
Well, I have a suspicion, but I can't say that on this cast. You told me to be appropriate. But that's the only reason I can think of. Truly.
Yeah, I don't get what's going on, but I wonder what's going to happen when new coach comes in. Are they going to make those changes? I hope so. I don't know, but Tudor's really had an issue personnel wise. Kelly has played every game, or at least
he's played a lot. He's played a lot. Yeah,
he's like a staple in that back line. He's like the immovable object at left center back. Nobody displaces him. So and Rugani's been playing really well too. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Was he red carded or something, or just played too well and they don't want him anymore? They're like, no, we can't have that.
No, we can't do that.
We don't want any of those smart guys.
No, we want this. Honestly, as you said, I think Juve is going to struggle that bad to score goals. That's what they've been doing, and their defense has been very, very porous. But instead, it was just a simple 1-0 early goal, and they just could never bury. It's been an issue though. Whenever Vlahovic starts the game, he does nothing. Jonathan David has been a definitely a disappointment, and then Openda, this season Honestly, he hasn't done much either. I don't know. They're really struggling. If Yildiz doesn't have a great game, Juve does nothing. Is kind of what happens here. So they're being carried by a 20-year-old.
Yeah. Well, and he came on as a sub. He didn't start the game. The issue with guys like David and Openda, and I think we talked about this in the one of our preseason casts. So they're really good on counterattacks. That's where they made their got most of their hype. But when you come to Italy and everyone's turtling up on you and they're tactically aware, it's really hard for strikers in this league still. And they just can't get space. They don't know how to get open. They when they get the ball, it's like a panic because there's we finally got the ball, and then they freak out. So yeah, they're definitely struggling, and it's a big learning curve as a striker coming to the Serie A. So I thought Vlahovic, even though he started the game and generally doesn't produce when he starts games, I thought he at least played hard.
I mean, he does typically. I mean, maybe not all the time. Sometimes he can be a little lazy, but he has been playing hard this season for the most part. He's still the best striker you guys have.
Yeah.
So
he is.
I mean, he probably needs a change of scenery. Maybe change of manager will help. Somebody who somebody like Spalletti, who's going to be playing more fluid. Definitely not going to be defense first if you get him, but it might help Vlahovic on attack.
Yeah.
So next portion here. What is wrong with Juventus? Right. Give your take. I'll give mine, and then we'll kind of get into the more individual stuff.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it starts at the top. All of our problems start at the top. When they got rid of Agnelli and that whole BS, there's a whole conspiracy theory there, and I don't think it's much of a conspiracy theory. I think it's a fact. Elkin ousted him and threw him under the bus, and that whole thing. We lost our soul with that because he was there every day. He was at the practice venue. He was in the office. He was super active. He loved that team. There was no doubt that he cared. And he's the reason we turned it around after Calciopoli. And this era reminds me very much of that. And I've said that before on here. And it's because we lacked exactly what Agnelli brought. Presence, passion, and like just absolute love for the team. And he got it right when he brought Marotta and Conti in. He got it right. He tried Marotta and Del Neri. That didn't work. And then he got Conti, and from there, boom.
Yeah. You got one of the best coaches in the world. Probably one of the best directors in the world. I mean, that's never going to fail.
Yeah, and at that time, Conte was still an unknown quantity. You didn't know what the hell he was, and it was they just knew him as a former player.
Right for Juve though. He's a Juve guy. Like totally. Everybody talks about Juve DNA, and yes, Tudor player. Tudor's not Juve. I mean, what does that mean? Conte believes in the team. He plays the way you should play at Juve. He's a very proud to be Italian, which is the Juve way. He plays defense first, right? He's tactically aware. That's Juve.
Absolutely.
Juve is not Tudor. It's not most of the coaches that they brought in recently.
I mean Tudor played hard, but he's just kind of like a big, dumb, strong guy, and that's fine. But Conte was he was a freaking captain, man. I mean, he's a beast.
It's a different level, man.
Yeah, you get your captain to actually coach the team. That was a stroke of genius. And when he left, for whatever reason, and everyone wants to blame him for everything, everyone wants to blame him for 9 straight titles because when you knew the end was coming, it can't go on forever, and desperation set in, and so they started spending excessive amounts of money on big name players because that's the way they thought they kept at the top. Was it a mistake? Yes. Did we think it was a mistake at the time? Sometimes people did, some people didn't. Whatever. One thing's for certain about people like that. They'll get it right again. And at least you have someone there that absolutely cares along with the fans.
It matters a lot. I mean, we always mirror each other a lot because being from a Milan fan for not 2 decades. You get to see their peaks, you get to see their troughs, and you get to see when a management comes in or ownership comes in that just they do not represent the team or what they've been. They totally crap on their history, and you're seeing this in both aspects. So I've been through it, currently dealing with it. It's a little better right now just because we have a great coach who can block a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys may hear some kiddos in the background at times. Apologies, but hey. Anyways, and you're seeing it now over at Juve. You're seeing just people who they don't bleed with the colors. They brought in Chiellini because he's a Juve guy to do what?
He's a total sock puppet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like they brought in Baresi at Milan to do nothing. Yeah. When Maldini was there, he was there every day at Milan at the training ground. he was setting the tone. That's why that team won the Scudetto that year. It wasn't a great team, but they won it because those guys were playing excellent, and all the youth guys were playing great because they had that reference point. Juve had that. Now they don't have this. We talked last cast. Who's their leader on the field? There's no Juve guys here. You don't have Bonucci. You don't have Chiellini. You don't have Barzal. You don't have Buffon. You don't have any of these guys that represent the team. You got Locatelli, who probably is your best bet for captain. And then they gave captain to Yildiz. This is a 20-year-old kid, and he's your best player, but that should never be your captain at that age. No. That's how bad Juve is now.
Yeah, they're terrible. You know, Agnelli built the stadium. He built up the youth sector. He built one of the best teams of all time in Serie A. And then people are going to act like they knew better when he was making mistakes. You know, it's like, guys, what you know, 9 straight years of incredible success, and then a few years off, and it was recovering. The pieces he put in place, the structure he put in place, was fixing itself. When Giuntoli got here, there were the big contracts were expiring. We had a plethora of young talent. We had experience. We had leadership. It was an excellent team, and we had some workhorse guys. You know, some cogs in the wheel. Yeah. Now we have just a hodgepodge of players.
Nothing.
And one of the points I really wanted to make to people, and I was pretty hard on X today. I said, this is the team you guys wanted. You guys being the fans. This is the team the fans wanted. The fans wanted this to happen. They want this. They were so adamant that they needed Allegri out. We needed a new Juventus.
Yep.
We needed to stop getting Italian players. We needed to stop all this crap and get all new, be like the other leagues, play exciting football, get a new hip manager. And this is exactly where we're at. The past 2 transfer windows, people absolutely loved. They were so happy to see some of our best players go. And this is where we are now, and no one should be upset about this. This was the fans wanted this, and
everybody was excited, man. I mean, like everybody thought, like, you know, and we can go through this. Like, so Di Gregorio, I think he's a totally fine keeper. He's average. He's
an average keeper.
He's not stellar. He
has great games. He has shit games.
Yeah. His price was fair. No problem with that one, right? Kelly, terrible. You guys and we'll keep saying this. You guys had Dean Huijsen, who you could tell in 2 seconds he was going to be a top class talent. Yeah. And you didn't need a guy like Lloyd Kelly. Said you sell Huijsen for peanuts, and you go buy Lloyd Kelly for the same amount, which is a joke. Brought in Kalulu. Everybody was excited about that. I even had Milan fans say, "Oh, I can't believe we would let him go." I thought differently. I could care less. We got a good fair price for him. He's young. He's got potential, but like he's never been that great for me. But they were all like, "Oh yeah, we stole this guy from Milan. What a steal!" No, terrible. I mean, it's not what you need. Thuram, I thought was a fair price. He's fine. I don't have a problem with him because you didn't pay an arm and a leg. Coop Myers, Douglas Luiz, massive amounts of money spent on these guys, nowhere near their price. Conceição, I mean, the list literally does go on.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah, one of my catchphrases last year was the damage that Giuntoli is doing will be lasting. He absolutely destroyed not just the starting lineup, the entire structure of the organization. We have our youth sector is depleted. We have no leaders. We have nobody who's going to gain value. And
that's the issue. Your team's in a hole. Like, you guys going to be in a hole because all these guys they bought Coop for whatever, 50, 60, something like that.
Yeah.
And Douglas Luiz, they're not making gains or even banking or level on it. They're definitely taking losses for sure. Yeah. The only guys that might pan out in the future is because they're young and decent price. Kalulu may get better. Thuram may get better. They'll be fine. Kelly's not going up. I mean, Conceição, I don't think he's going to become a world-class player. You guys paid top dollar for him. Like, he's going to go down. So, like, this is not going to go well as far as, financials go.
No, and instead of, when Comoli comes in, he has a choice, right? He's totally screwed and handcuffed by this Giuntoli mess. He had to pay a ton of money on loan obligations and stuff like that already just to kick things off. So he starts going crazy too. Now, he doesn't do any stupid financial moves. Like, I don't like necessarily all the players he brought in. Obviously, we know where I stand on. I want Italians. I want to blow the thing up and start over. But when you can't offload players, no one wants the guys you got because you overpaid for them and they didn't perform
for nothing.
No one wants it. So he brought in guys on decent deals. He did good negotiations on people at least, which wasn't happening. Giuntoli was selling low, buying high. Comoli's held strong on a couple deals. That's fine.
Financially, he seems decent. Team building seems crappy to me, but financially, he's been decent.
But this is all a product of Elkin, setting the tone for what he wants to achieve. Elkin's main goal, and this is something I always say, his main goal is appeasing his shareholders and trying to make some money on this thing. Trying to have it be solvent. That's all he cares about. Finish top 4, Champions League. No, he doesn't love Juventus. He doesn't need to win. He doesn't even know how. He doesn't know how.
It's an asset to him. He's a mega wealthy dude. He has a lot of things in his portfolio. This is just what
he inherited. This crap. I saw him do this with Ferrari, and this is just the way he is. He's a soulless vampire, and that's what he turns his teams into. He did it with Ferrari. Now he's doing it with this.
That's how Juve looks. That's how Milan is something. As I said, they lost their soul, and this it's something that we both feel similar. Both our teams have lost their soul. They lost their Milanese. They're lost their like the Juve way. This is what happens, right? And you look at this team right now, like who's there who just bleeds Juve? You could say like guys like Gatti and Locatelli really care, right? And they really try. And I like their heart, but they're not. I mean, they're not like quality enough to really be on the Juve as of old. They should be back.
Yildiz does. I think Yildiz, when you grow up in a system, I think that marries you to it a little bit more. And that's why it pisses me off so much to get rid of some of the young guys, especially some of the guys who we knew were talented, like Ravella, Sule, Heisen.
These guys all used to hang out too. Like, which really builds your team. Like that's how you build a core.
Yeah, they grew up as a part of Juventus. Like Juventus is a part of them. And when you get rid of those guys and you bring in some mercenary who doesn't give a shit, what do you expect? And then you're like, oh, they can't live up to the pressure. It's like, well, they're not Juve guys. They're coming here. Pressure.
It's just another good team, a high-profile team that they get to play at, increase their value, maybe move on to the next team. They're not like, I doubt any of these guys who you really bought with, oh, this is my team. This is my final destination. This is my top. No, I'd say 99% of people there just don't really care.
Especially nowadays. I mean, these players carry from the last. They're prostitutes essentially. They're football prostitutes. Prostitutes, yeah. They're not even trying their best.
No, Yildiz is sweet. I think, and I said he grew up in the system. He plays hard. He plays for it. He definitely is very Juve. But yeah, you get local guys like Ravella, Hoyson, Chiesa. Like it's
Sule.
Honestly, Sule is an awesome talent. I mean, there's so many guys. Dybala, you guys say, had such a top quality team. Like just blown up in 2 seconds. So management, I agree. That one is one of the main things that's wrong with Juve. And if the head doesn't change, nothing else that follows from that is going to be great, right? Even if you do okay for a season or two. But so the head has to change. Then we get into manager and coach. I think manager and coach has been wrong for a bit here.
Oh yeah.
Mota was not like a great call. It was an experiment. Tudor.
I didn't think Mota was that bad. I remember everyone was saying we're going to play some amazing, exciting, and you and I said it before the season last year. We said,
it's not Multi, man.
He's
look at his defensive record.
Yeah, he plays defense first. He's not the craziest person we've ever had. I wanted Conte. One of the reasons I was very against Multi is because I wanted Conte. Yeah, I thought there's only one way to turn a team around. There's only one way.
The fan base didn't want it because Conte comes with a certain a certain sass, a certain issue.
He's mean,
People see him as a traitor, which is kind of wild because he definitely wants to come back to Juve.
Yeah, if you don't want Conte, you're a virtue signaler who speaks in platitudes, and I don't care. We need a guy who oozes Juventus, and that's him. Yep. And look at what he's doing in Napoli right now, man. That team, if you can't see how awesome that team, I am so jealous of the way they play. The players that they're bringing in.
You guys have Allegri too, who also plays hard, plays good, but then they didn't want that because it's boring. Who cares? He was very Juve. Allegri was great for Juve for a long time.
Allegri disrespected the shit out of him.
Big time.
And I love that final game when he was, screaming at him, ripping his clothes off and whatever. I was, you know exactly who he was talking to.
Yep.
He was talking to Giuntoli. Mota wasn't even there yet. They totally screwed. The players love that guy.
The players love him.
He was an excellent coach, and he was rebuilding that team. And he sat there through all this shit with the penalty points, through no sporting director, just getting dumped on. And he was always professional, gracious, and put Juve up top. And it's such a shame that fans treat him like this. And this is the fan base deserves this. They deserve every single minute of it. And we're not getting out of this anytime soon.
1,000% agree. And if you keep things need to change and you kind of go against your own, this is what happens, right? Yeah. Now look at it. They came from two top-class managers, Conte and Allegri, like two truly top-class managers. And then you wind up with Mota, who's a shot in the dark, a younger coach with some ideas.
It's got a lot of potential.
Exactly. I still think he does have potential. He should go somewhere, that's gonna roast him a lot less. Give him some time and see what happens, right? Give the guy a season or two, not a half season, and then you go with the Tudor. I mean, this is not enough for Juve. This is not enough for Juve. But a lot of the great coaches were taken away. Now you wind up with your choices are Palladino and Spalletti and Mancini, right? So I think that Juve should undergo like full rebuild, blow the whole thing up, start from scratch, go youth style, bring Palladino in, give him a few seasons, and say, hey, we're not going to be good for a season or two, but we can build something special in the future. That's what
we're not going to give him a few seasons.
I know. Juve needs to win now because your books are cooked, and so they I mean, and that's the case. So is Spalletti the guy? He's going to be better than Tudor. He's at least a good coach.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You asked what was wrong with Juve, and the first answer was John Elkann. And why is it John Elkann? Because he brought in a guy in Cristiano Giuntoli who had such a massive ego. He mishandled the task he was given so badly. He came in and with such arrogance, blowing up the team with just being a dick about it too, making Motta his lapdog to do his dirty work. Oh, he thought he was. He
thought he was awesome, and fans loved it too. Oh, look what he did at Napoli. He sucked at Napoli.
He did.
He just threw stuff at the board and caught a couple of gems here and there. That's it. You think that he was the one who discovered Kvaratskhelia? Absolutely not.
No,
I knew about it for years.
We broke that down already. He never discovered Kvaratskhelia. He never discovered. He paid a shit ton of money for Austin, but obviously didn't discover him. He never discovered Kim. So what he did with his technique, and this is why how I knew I didn't want him here the day he was hired. I think that's when we started on X. I was like, oh, we got to get involved now. We got to let the plebs know. He throws a bunch of shit on the wall, and he picks out a couple pieces of corn each year. He spends a ton of money. He just shifts players around. He runs
You're gonna hit a couple of gems when you just keep signing. It's gonna happen.
I don't want to run a whorehouse. I want to have a team building over time, building from within. I want a team that's going to last. Teams like that. He got a lucky Scudetto. They played amazing that year. Good for them. He even got Spalletti one. That was a good team, and it was the right team at the right time. They did a great job that season. But then they went right back.
Speaking of things that last, like we just talked about Conte. Look what he built at Juve, and it lingered and persisted after him. Even then, when they brought in Allegri goes to Champions League final, pretty close after that. Wins a bunch of Scudetti. Basically, kind of saying, hey, you already laid the groundwork. Now I'm going to continue that and keep progressing. Same thing happened at Inter. Conte laid the groundwork, and then Inzaghi continued it, and they did great for years. I mean, this is somebody who built a team to last. Not what you guys bring in.
No, it's so. The problem all stems from it. Yes, there was mistakes made with Paratici and overpaying of players, and desperation was setting in.
Yeah.
And the corrupt waif or whatever screwing us up. And there was no fight. Elkann threw him under the bus. He didn't fight it. He just accepted all the punishments, screwed us over for years. It reminds me of Ferrari, and there's a little bit of a digression, but it makes sense. When Elkann took over Ferrari, and he ousted Luca Montezemolo, the same kind of stuff happened. The FIA through those years kept screwing Ferrari over, and we ate it every time. When Luca was running Ferrari, he would go in there and he'd flip chairs, freak out. He'd say, we're going to leave F1. We're going to start our own series. We have 60% of your fan base. What the hell are you going to do without us? Boom. And guess what? We always got away at the slap on the wrist, if that. Sometimes scot-free.
Which is what all the big teams do. Man City, Barca, Real Madrid, they all do stuff. They just get away with it, and nobody punishes them.
You got to give it right back. It's a totally corrupt world, and you got to be a bigger asshole than the next guy. And that's what Montezemolo was.
Playing fair. Sorry, guys, nobody is.
And Elkann
successful team is.
Elkann just threw him under the bus, shit him out, and then Giuntoli comes in, and he starts dissecting the team in the most arrogant possible way and pissing everybody off. And make no mistake. He was doomed the second he decided to be a dick to Allegri. And all the players knew that. All the players were on Allegri's side. That's why they had all the problems they did last year. Yep. Malta, he wasn't necessarily an innocent bystander because he gladly played the lapdog role, and that's my issue I had with Malta, and that's why he lost the locker room, because he played the Giuntoli's lapdog thing. He's I'll go in there and do that. Yeah, we got to make our own team. We're starting over. We got to get rid of it. You're right. We should talk to this. I'll do it for you. I got to show that I'm in charge. So let me
should be stronger on that.
That was all Giuntoli. Giuntoli effed the whole thing up because Malta's, We were talking Walter Palladino. If you're going to go with the young new coach, tomatoes. I prefer Palladino, but there's nothing wrong with Malta. And the whole thing blew up, and we're still here. The main thing after Elkin, after making the mishandling things with the way Giuntoli ruined this whole thing, bringing Malta in, who wasn't strong enough to keep everyone together. Then you got the player signings. And last year was like almost $300 million if you include all the loan obligations. On who? On a bunch of foreign players that don't care about Juventus, that don't know Juventus, that aren't even good, and we call them out. Knowing that Coop Miners, he's the greatest midfielder in all of Serie A. Oh my God! Wow, he's the greatest midfielder. He's the greatest midfielder in all the EPL. Wow. Guys, there's no surprises. Moji said it before the season even started. Moji called these guys out, said they weren't going to pan out. How does he know? How does one of our best transfer gurus of all time know that these guys weren't going to pan out and no one else does? Well, because he doesn't go on FIFA and look at their player ratings. He just watches them. These guys are low-character guys. Douglas Luiz, super skilled. He's lazy. And guess what he was? He was lazy. Coop Miners, low character. Okay, not combative.
100%.
Can't be a focal point. Can't step.
Juve is almost all character and grit. That is the Juve way, right? They're Italian core, grit, determination, win it at all costs. Lock it down, play dirty, get that win. That's Juve style, right? Grow from within.
Always
unapologetically Italian. That's Juve. It has been since their inception. Yeah, they've gone astray a couple of times in their history, and it's never really worked out. And it's happening again.
I mean, we had years when at least in the beginning, when we're always coming up from the depths. That's how we do it, and then it establishes itself so hard that we actually start getting better and better players. That we're able to get a little more high skill. Do a little more ball control.
Yeah, but then it goes too far, and
then it goes too far, and then that's exactly.
There's always like a peak, right? And nobody knows how to maintain that by just keeping the same thing going.
Yeah. So no, it's really it's Elkin's fault.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to the top, so.
Third, it's the players. I really don't blame the managers that much at all. I think Malta was, wrong place, wrong time, and didn't have didn't have the balls to really say no, man, I want to keep this guy. I'm going to keep this guy.
That's Malta's fault. Yeah, that's Malta's fault because he could have stuck to his guns. Because if you think about it, Malta and they gave him a lot of flack for tying all these games, but Juve was actually defensively stout. They were playing hard. Look what's happening now. They're tying or losing all of the games. So I mean, can you really blame the guy? His team was not very good.
We knew why he was doing that too. We knew why he was structuring.
Team's not good enough.
You had Gatti and Kalulu as your center backs. What are you going to do? Just go crazy? And
Bremer goes down after 6 games, something like that. It was really early on in the season. And so you're literally stuck with these guys. They loaned out Regani. They didn't even have him last season because he was gone on loan. So who do you really have? You have these guys. They're not great defenders. So it's not going to work out very well for you. So I think that he was kind of screwed from the get-go. So he had to play team defense, which is why he had everybody back, tying the game, playing just these kind of more like low-pace, I guess, uglier games, so to speak. So I don't think that this was ever going to be a great season for him, but he did what he had to do. Juve was still in the running; they were still, close, hanging close. And then he started reading the tablets. They got to play more exciting. They got to try this. They're just a boring team, and it all went with the shit.
Yeah. You got to stick to your guns. Like when people were saying, telling Tudor he should change his tactics, I'm like, dude, this is what he knows. He's not going to be able to pull this off. We don't really have the personnel to.
Tudor goes to a 4-3-3, right? And then it looks terrible. So you go, it's not just let the coach. There's not that many coaches out there who are good enough to change on the fly. Some are, and some are good tactically. Most aren't. They're all system guys. They have the thing that they like, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So let them do it. Just let them do it. It's okay if that's what you chose. Back them, and there you go. But no. Personnel was we get to players personnel. I mean, I think if you go across this. Nobody really, in my opinion, is good enough to be on view as of old. There's 2 players that we said that have the potential to be there. Yildiz and Cambiasso, my opinion, have the potential to be there. Yildiz definitely stands alone above them, and Cambiasso at times is next. But
I think Cambiasso in the right environment is definitely skilled enough.
Yeah.
to get there, and he's playing in a position that's not like a super premium. So yeah, but yeah, Yildiz could he would be great on those teams.
Yeah.
This damn thing is Yildiz is not for the foreseeable future going to be surrounded by proper class players.
That's going to really harm his career. Because if you have this guy on an already good team, he is going to go nuts. He's going to play amazing because he can have an off game, and the team's going to be fine. Right now, he has an off game, the team sucks. And that's a lot as a kid, man. That's a lot as a kid.
Opponents know if you take Yildiz out of the game, you're going to win. That's what everyone figured us out now. That's why we haven't won in so many games. They just shut Yildiz down. As soon as they shut Yildiz down, Conceição doesn't do anything. He just dribbles in circles. You know?
Yeah, he'll come with he plays really hard, and then he has like one good moment per game. And if that good moment ends up in a goal, great. But most times it doesn't. That's it. Like it's not enough. But he's a good hard worker. But he's not 30-40 mil worth.
No,
he's a substitute role player.
We never should have bought him.
What should you pay for that? 15 for a substitute role player? That's probably what you should pay for that. Or use one of your youth guys.
Wingers are a dime a dozen. You could have got Cancellieri or Cambiaghi for a fraction of the price, and they could have done exactly what Chico's done, if not more. But we paid after the loan fees almost $40 million for him, for a 5'2" winger, that 1-footed cut inside winger. I mean, that's the kind of delusion that we're dealing with right now. Is we're overvaluing. Like people are saying, "Oh, the roster is better than where we are." Maybe a little bit. Do I think we're an 8th place?
A little bit.
No. Do I think we're a 3rd to 5th place team? Yeah, that's not good enough for Juventus. 3rd to 5th place is not where you want to be at all. That's why we fired Malta, because he couldn't get us up there. If you really look at our roster, though, truly, you're true with yourself. This is not this might be the worst Juventus team I've ever seen. It might be.
It's not far off.
It's not far off. I mean, Conceição is not some amazing player that we're so glad we have over somebody else. Kalulu, Gatti. I mean, the fact that Gatti is one of our best defenders should scare you. The fact that Locatelli is absolutely our best midfielder says everything you need to know about.
These guys are role players in a good Juve, as we say, should be subs 100%, and yet they're left as some of your better players.
And everyone loves Bremer, but Bremer was present at the heart of the defense for those games where we were getting blown out with tons of goals. So, Bremer's not the kind of guy that's going to change your team. He's not that like defensive leader, that smart guy that's positionally sound. Bremer's super athletic, and since he's been injured, that's definitely not his primary skill. But let's not forget, he was not an amazing player until the last Allegri season, when they sandwiched him in between Gatti and Rugani. And then once Allegri started to get his Brazilian guys back and started to put Sandro back out there, Danilo back out there, our defense went to shit again. And that will always be my knock on Allegri, is his obsession with Brazilians, because we were doing really well defensively until he brought those guys back in. But he'd been to war with those guys. He trusts those guys. I do get it from that point. But when Rugani, Bremer, Gatti was a good defense for us. But you also had Rabiot out there, who you know very well now, completely helps change Milan's midfield.
Yep, a very unsung hero who does all the dirty work and gets no love for it because he doesn't do anything sexy. He doesn't get the massive goal, although he is a gamer. He'll hop in a couple of big ones. But very underappreciated guy.
So. Juve fans hated him. All he did was kick ass and score clutch goals. And
he does everything. He does everything well. He's not, and he's also smart. But yeah, either way, we both like him. He's a good player. Yeah. I respect players like that who are smart. Yeah, but this team from top to bottom is bad. You have some depth in attack, so to speak. I mean, Openda and David should be good enough to do something. But I mean, nobody's playing well in this team. And yes, the team is better than the rating, but nobody's playing well because there's poison at the top. But you're never going to perform well in an environment like this. You're not going to get the best out of your guys like this. It's not going to happen.
Those starting lineups against Lazio, okay? Who's better? Who was better? Isaacson or Chico?
Isaacson's a better player in general.
Okay. And let's do this. Player. Who's better? Zaccagni or McKennie? Or David, let's say. Zaccagni or David?
Zaccagni for sure, but if you're going to compare Zaccagni and Yildiz, I'll take Yildiz. But he wasn't starting, so Yildiz, right. he can't pick. But if you were, then I'll take Yildiz. But yes, Zaccagni Striker, Dia versus Vlahovic, probably Vlahovic. Just depends on the day. But I mean, Vlahovic has had some rough seasons, but he's a better striker. Midfield, Guendouzi is better than all of your midfielders.
Yep.
And then I would take
Cataldi's better than all midfielders. Cataldi was the best midfielder on that day. Cataldi was amazing.
I would take Loka probably, and then like Cataldi to kind of finish out that midfield three. Bosic has been good the past few games. Defense wise, Romagnoli, Gila, Lafferty, and Marusic, I would take all of them. I would probably take Gatti over Marusic, even though they don't play the same position. That's it.
Yeah, I'd take it was Gatti and Kelly pretty much, at the middle there, right? Yeah. They changed formations later on. They went to a 4-man back line. So Gatti and Kelly or Romagnoli, Gila. I think those guys. So everyone says our roster is so good
with guys that have no brain. I mean, that whole back line, Gatti, Kelly, and Kulu, their primary asset is not positioning and smart. Sorry, it's just not. Those three guys, they're all aggressive. They're better at attacking. They're not better at defending. Come on. That's not going to
look at the counterpoint you have with Romagnoli and Gila.
And Gila, yeah, one's aggressive, one's more chill.
Yeah, one's aggressive, fast, athletic, covers ground. One is stay home, gets balls out of the box, wins headers. I mean, that's team building. So yeah, maybe they have injuries, but that defense is better than our defense. So I know we think we have a really good roster, but we really, really don't. When
Juve is a European battling team. That's it, which is what Lazio is. Lazio in a great season will fight for top 4. Juve should be fighting for top 4, and that's it. That's all you can ask of this Juve is to fight for top 4. They're not going to win a Scudetto. They're not going to get second with this roster. They're going to fight for anywhere from 3rd through 7th. Which is crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, we just don't have. And one of the things we have to watch too when we're watching games. Do you see the lack of technique, the lack of ball control when a ball comes to them, the lack of the inability to put proper weight on passes? I think Cambiaso and Yildiz are by far the best at these skills, receiving balls and putting proper weight on passes. They have their shortcugomings here and there. Yildiz is young, so
but they're definitely higher skilled players.
Cambiaso's had a patchy season, but the skill's there. Thuram has none of this ability. Every once in a while, he'll hit a good pass, but the weight's always off. It sometimes he doesn't control things correctly. It starts to, all these flaws start to compound when everyone around you has the same ones. And it's okay to have a couple of those guys out there. When your whole team's full of them, it really, really magnifies the issue. And that's where we're at, truly. You can bring in any coach. It doesn't really matter at this point.
It's not going to fix it. Spalletti will do a little better because he's a better coach, and people will have a little more respect for him because he's at least done some things. But I don't think it's going to be great. I think Spalletti is going to be brought in to try and salvage top 4, and I'm not sure if it'll work, but we'll see.
I think it's a really bad move. Here's why.
This team is rough.
You're already paying for Thiago Motta. You're already paying for Tudor. Now you're going to have to commit to Spalletti. You're going to potentially have 3 coaches on your books next year.
Not cheap either,
or whatever it is. Exactly. I would have just stuck with Brambilla, the next gen guy. I would have just stuck with him for the rest of the year. We're not that far out of it, but you know what you got. I mean, you got to be realistic about this. If Spalletti comes in and turns everything around, we're going to all be shocked. I'm very certain that won't happen. But we're spending too much money on coaches right now.
Yep. So we're kind of branching the last 2 topics here. That this one is basically what is Juve going to do? We think they're going to go with Spalletti. I think we both think that. Yeah. What do we think that they should do, and where to go from here is I think where we'll end up. I've already said it. I think they should go with Palladino. He's a young guy. He's not going to cost you as much, so financially it makes more sense. I think he'd be quite good for Juve, but he's going to take some time. This is also not a team he would ever choose to build. Palladino, from at least what he said at Fiorentina, is very Italo-centric. I think it's perfect for Juve. They should start from the youth. They start from the core, rebuild that Italian core of good Italian players, not the basic ones like Gatti's and Locatelli's. Get some of that going again, right? Make some actual choice signings and say, all right, we're going to bring in some of the best Italian talents to rebuild this Juve core. You're going to be a Juve guy now, right? And that's how they have to start and start slow. Understand, the fans have to understand it's not going to be, it might be good right away, but it's probably not going to be great for a season or 2. But you have to be willing to go through those growing pains to build something that's long-term successful, rather than just being short-sighted. Because I think if you want to build a dynasty again, you need to build the pieces again. And the crazy thing is Juve had all of that. if we go back at some point, which probably not time today, but they had every single piece you needed to build and sustain a dynasty. It was so damn good. From Ravella, who's now playing great, to I guess we'll go through a little bit. So what are the players that you guys used to have?
Hold on real quick. I think we should have to do that today. And if people don't want to keep listening, that's fine. But the real ones will, because they're going to understand what happened in the 2 years that from before June until he got here until now. So what is Spalletti going to do?
Actually,
I think he'll get a top 4.
This is kind of the same thing. This is what we think they should do anyways, is go back to this.
I think he'll get a top 4. Okay. What would I do is I don't think you can bring Palladino in right now. I think if you bring Palladino in right now, he's screwed.
Yeah, I think you should bring him in summer because you need to give him some time.
Yeah. You got a bunch of asshole players that are all pissed off. This is their third coach now or whatever in so many years.
Yeah, you got to offload. You got to blow this thing up in summer.
You know, if you've ever been in a job where they keep canning your manager, or they sell it off to another company, you see this shit happening. It deflates everybody, and that's where these players are right now. They weren't good to begin with, and now they have no confidence. And now they have no confidence.
I couldn't bring in a dude who's going to change everything in half season. I agree.
No, it's just another coach.
Palladino, but you need to give the guy an actual offseason to start with. Blow this
another dead man. It's another dead man.
A couple of guys that you think are class or who are going to be good bench guys at the very least.
I would
and get rid of the rest.
I wouldn't have a problem getting rid of this whole team. I think that you keep Gatti and Locatelli and Cambiaso and Yildiz. Those are the 4 I'd keep. You know why? Because Locatelli and Gatti are bench players. They're squad guys.
And they care.
Squad guys. They've been here and they do care. And whether everyone wants to hate somebody, and I know that you want to hate the Italians because I don't know, maybe you're not Italian and you don't like that that you like an Italian club for some reason. You know, these are players that actually do play hard, especially in these shitty games. They also play hard in these big games when we play against Real Madrid. Yeah. They step up. We didn't get to see
their effort and desire can't really be questioned. Yeah, their quality definitely can, but their effort and desire can't be.
Yes, Yildiz came through the system, and Yildiz is our most talented player by a mile.
Yep, I would definitely keep him. That's number one. I would keep him for sure.
And the opportunity to sell Cambiaso was last year. His value is down. I wouldn't sell him right now. I think
for the price he's going to go for.
His potential is very high still. I know he's not a young pup anymore, but his potential is still high. If he has one good season, his number's going to go back up. So just from
he's also versatile. You can look for a left or right wing back and play him on the other side. So you're not kind of locked in there. Yeah, he's very versatile. He can play winger. He's a good player. I would not sell Cambiaso. I would keep Yildiz, Cambiaso. I would also keep Gatti and Locatelli with the intent to make them be subs. That's how I would actually try to rebuild this. You probably start him right now in a 3-man mid for Loca, but the goal would be eventually that guy's going to be a sub. But
I want Locatelli to stop being a regista. I want Locatelli to play in a 3-man midfield as an actual Mazzala. Yeah, let him play a proper midfielder. That's the thing. Everybody else can go. Vlavic's contract's up. David, we've got him a free. We can just sell his ass. Yeah. Openda, we should do whatever we can to not have to buy that guy.
Bremer to me depends on the deal. No, I think if you get a low fee for him, I wouldn't sell him. I think if you get a high fee, get rid of him.
I don't think you're going to get. I think you're going to get a modest fee for him, like 40 to 50 for Bremer. I would take that and let him go.
That's enough for me. I mean, plus you can't trust the injuries. So at this point, I probably sell him for that. Just to start fresh and rebuild. Yeah, but I think if you don't get that, I would keep him.
Yeah, he's 29 or something. I don't think that's old for Serie A by any means.
No,
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of age, but we're in a rebuilding phase. That's what I would want to initiate, and that's not something you're going to want to rebuild with. You're going to want to bring people in here that are going to be able to get established and claim that role. I would have it be a complete Wild West and say day one of preseason training, it's your position to claim. May the best man win. Earn this motherfucking spot. Get the hell out or ride the bench. There needs to be a hierarchy in the locker room. Any good team has one. And if you grew up playing sports at a proper level and we're just jacking off on video games, you'll know how this shit works. You know who's the starter. You know
who's there, man.
Who's that starter's
bitch. Teams had it.
And that's how it goes. And that's what we need to reestablish again. And we're not doing it. We're throwing. When you throw a guy like Coop Miners out there and he's done absolutely nothing to earn that role, you know there's absolutely no hierarchy on this team. Absolutely not. So it's been completely violated. So that's what I would do. Has
no real leaders on the team, and unfortunately, you can't really buy a Juve specific leader. you do have to buy some experienced players who've been there, done that, right? Like how Milan goes out and buys Modric, which is one of the few things I agree with their whole with the management. You need to do that. Get a couple of those dudes in, and then let the younger generation grow and become that, and then you start building a dynasty. And you need to start building from within. You need to build it homegrown, and then you need to be buying. The only things you should go out and buy from elsewhere should be guys with top class experience or guys who are actually top class players. That's it. That's the only reason to go outside of Italy. That's the only reason to go outside of building from within, in my opinion.
Totally agree. So, and
you've got to keep this very, very centric.
And I, whenever I hear Juve's DNA is winning, that's the most juvenile thing you could possibly say.
Everybody says that stuff for all the teams.
It
sounds tough. It's just
it's the most hollow platitude ever.
Yeah,
Juve has always been unapologetically Italian, and that's that. If you don't like it, there's plenty of teams you can go follow that'll just hire whatever prostitute you want. That you can run it like your ultimate team on FIFA, and what a great time you can have. But speaking of transfers, I have a list here of free transfers that are going to be available at the end of the season. Okay, Bernardo Silva,
fantastic player.
Quentin Timber, Julian Brandt, Goretzka, Kessié,
excellent,
Demiral, Mondragora,
great,
Casemiro, Brozovic.
A lot better team what you guys have right now.
Yeah, Xavier Schlager, Lorenzo Pellegrini, Emery Khan, Koke, and Paulo Dybala. Yeah. All available on free next year. So not like you're going to
pick up a handful of those for sure.
You pick up a couple of those guys. You got free transfers, low risk, and these are all good. The list is a lot longer than that. I cherry pick my favorite. Those are the guys that I like from that list.
You do that. You bring up some of your youth guys. You buy some actual like Italian talents to go along with that, and now you got something to build with.
Yeah, guys like Palestra are looking real good. I think that's a no-brainer. Buy him. You already screwed the pooch on Keane and Retegui. You didn't go for those guys. You screwed the pooch on Calafiore. Pick up some guys. Give me a Camuzzo or something like that before they get out of the price range.
Viti.
Is it going to be as good as it is right now? I think it can't be. Honestly, it can't be any worse.
It's going to be similar. I mean, like
it's going to be similar, but there's
those guys have to grow. But I mean, like at the same point, though, like I'd rather have a team that plays like a team, rather than this disjointed madness that you have. Like this is not a team.
That team is going to be young and they're going to grow. And they're going to learn, like a game like the Lazio game, they're going to learn from if they have that kind of experience.
They're going to be all in, too, because they know that this is going to be the long term.
This team isn't learning anything from this. They're all, mid upper 20s. They're maxed out. They're going to be as good as they're going to be. Most of them. They're not learning anything. So, I would dump the whole team if I could, and I would build it just like that. Get a couple free transfers, get some young Italians, and get a bunch of average workhorses. Guys who have actual grit. If you're watching Napoli and look at the signings they make, watch freaking McTominay bust his ass. Watch how good Spinazzola is, who was a free transfer. Look at Buongiorno out there, kicking ass. I mean, there are a few players left in 2025 that actually fight hard. There are, and just give me those guys, man. I'll take them. They're not going to be worse than this, and like. For as good of a roster everyone thinks we have, we just pointed out, going head to head against Lazio's roster, who spent $0, by the way, not much better. If I don't think it's better at all.
It's been a thing, and they're beating Juve 1-0, and they'll be in a very similar spot. No, it's not. So I mean, I think in general, they got to start from scratch. We both know it. We both feel it. This is kind of how I felt about Milan. We got a couple pieces now to where I say we don't have to fully start from scratch over at Milan. But Juve at this point is kind of where Milan was about a year ago.
Well, Milan had much bigger advantage than Juve did. Okay, Milan has a few players that are actually really, really good.
Yep, for sure.
Magnan on his day, I think
top class on his day.
Totally. Way too inconsistent for me, but he's absolutely top class.
Inconsistent, but when he's on, he's a top 5 keeper. When he's on.
Gabbia is better than all of our defenders. I would say him and Rugani are the closest to me, and Gabbia is younger and can improve a slight bit. He's a better player than Rugani just in the long run. Absolutely. Better than all of our defenders.
Yeah, midfield was terrible last year, but now they got Modric and Rabiot. It's different.
Yeah, Modric and
Ricci, who's got a lot of potential. So now Milan is looking a lot better.
Modric, Rabiot, and Ricci.
Salamakers is back, so they did a lot of good stuff. So they're in a way different spot now.
Bartasagi's looking good. We have Pulisic and Leao, who are actually good players.
Yep. No,
we don't have players of that caliber. We don't.
Nobody
we
besides
don't have
Yildiz.
No.
You got Yildiz and Cambiaso.
That's it.
It's rough. This is the worst Juve I've ever seen, and we've been watching the same exact amount of time. We started, literally, I think, like the same year. And
this is worse than Calciopoli Juventus. This is worse because we had guys like Nedved,
like Thiago and stuff like that. Even back when you guys say this is worse than that team for sure. This is gross. There's no Juve guys in this team, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, there are a couple who could get there, like Yildiz one out. The
barcode jersey is so perfect. It couldn't be more perfect.
You're just a number.
Yeah, you're just a number. Scan them in. Bring in the next random mercenary. This team is not a Juventus team. I call them Inter Turin, and that's exactly what they are.
Right. Alcon Zebras.
Exor Zebras.
Yeah. All right. So we'll kind of wrap up here. Maybe we'll come up with some other content about it in the future. We'll see what they do. We'll keep you guys posted. We'll see if the what we think is going to happen with Spalletti ends up becoming official or not. Probably will be, but so we'll keep posting on that. And that's it. We'll be back probably next week with a bigger update on Serie A and about Juve, or if there's any other big team news. If you can, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps out a bunch. Take care. I'm Michael. It's Anthony. Ciao.